Welcome to the front, Commandos. I'm Nico the Iron Elf, a war elf forged in the fires of battle. Today we're going to be doing Armchair General, a series where we dissect war tactics, military equipment, and modern combat developments. And we are joined with Yog today. Hi, Yog.
Hello, my name is Yog, FPV drone operator from Florida, and also big military guy. How are you?
Pretty good. Oh, welcome everybody. We have Doohickey, Jungle, Cannon, and Joseph. Welcome. Glad you could all make it. Why?
Keep
No.
throwing stuff at him.
No, we're gonna do cool stuff, guys. I promise.
No, he's not. Keep throwing stuff at him.
Oh no. Alright, so today we're gonna start with the Sunni front. Why? So, guys, please. It's cool. Abuse, right? I'm trying to talk about the cool war thing, guys. No!
Keep hitting that
I
nerd.
can't believe it. Drink a little water. Alright, thank you.
Alright, should we actually
More.
talk about the Battle of Sumi?
Bruh. Yep, go ahead.
Alright, so, after the end of the Battle of Kursk, Russian forces have now moved back into the Sumy Oblast after having last been there in 2023 and 2022. Ukraine did try a small counteroffensive into Belgorod, but has been pushed out. As you can see, I think there's only one footage left under Ukrainian control in Kursk, but now the Sumy Oblast is under trouble, and the city of Sumy is very close to the border and was once already under siege, therefore leaving it very vulnerable to a possible secondary siege.
Yep. I think that this whole thing, they secured Kursk, they might want a buffer zone, but I think they're going to move both of their forces back to their main fronts in Luhansk and Donetsk. So those are going to be their main fronts. And they might get some of the buffer, but they're not going to do a big siege on Sumy unless, it's opportunistic.
I think it really depends on how negotiations go, but if negotiations go south, I think a push in Sumy would be the easiest thing to go to, because that area has been so battered up, and the big loss of life recently really isn't going to help them.
Yeah, you were number one. That's true, Joseph. Joseph was here first. He got first. Alright, next is Kharkiv. So this is their main attack on this whole front here. So they're focusing on Kupiansk. This front, I can't pronounce this, Severodonetsk. TVR here. And Pokrovsk as well over here. So this is the main front of their attack. Their main front is right about here, and this southern flank is more a supporting flank to help out the main front. The best thing to end war is nuclear bomb. I don't know if that's gonna go well, guys,
All
for
we
anybody.
need to do is tactically nuke every single city in Ukraine, all 257,000 cities that they seem to have. No, I think God, that's gonna be clipped out of. That's gonna be way clipped out of context.
Yeah, I don't know
GRU,
about that
please,
one.
I am just joking. I am legally joking. GRU, CIA, and FBI. But I think Kharkiv, I think they really are gonna push into it to try to connect it to that little up here divot they made last year.
Hey,
maybe.
Maki. Hey Maki, welcome to Armchair General. Well, I'm not joking. Oh no.
I hope
Alright.
not, please.
Next, we're focusing on the Battle of Pokrovsk. Toretsk is continuing to be a siege city. They're trading land back and forth. Russia gains a little bit of land every time they do the land flip. But again, this is more of their supporting flank than their main thrust. So they have secured most of the city, though. So
Yeah. Yeah, it seems that one has already been decided. Unfortunately, that one has already been decided.
Hmm.
It looks as if most of the city of Torresk has already been captured, and with that, I think there's that many cities after that point. It's very
Yeah.
hard because Ukraine defines any area over 10,000 people as a city, I think.
Mm.
So it's a little different from how we decide cities.
Yeah. But as long as they have those big concrete apartment blocks, they can fortify the crap out of those and just hold it for a long period of time.
Well, until the FABs come in and knock them out.
Yeah.
We'll swarm.
The Russian T-90 holds the first, second, and third plate on how long the turret goes. Yeah, the recent stuff though has shown me that it's actually getting upgraded pretty good. With modern stuff, they put a lot of anti-mine and anti-drone stuff on the T-90s, which are pretty good.
Could have sworn it was
There's-
a T-72.
Yeah, they did it to both, but the Russians are learning that their idea of going fast and having a good gun isn't enough for modern combat. They have to have ergonomics and survivability, which is why Ukraine's been able to hold out this long.
Yeah.
But I could have done
It's
that
very-
better. True.
It's very just
Welcome,
back and
Mixie.
forth because
Hi.
everyone's like, that the new battlefield means that tanks are not useful
Hi, Bad.
in
Welcome.
warfare. Therefore, it
Why?
means that we can't use tanks.
Pixie,
It's
please,
like, no,
not you too.
It's just now
No.
everyone knows what to do with military now.
Bruh.
And make 23.
True. Speaking of planes, the Air Force, the Ukrainian Air Force, has had some activity recently. They had Mirage 2000s and F-16 attack logistical targets along the front earlier, mostly consisting of JDAM strikes on munitions, bridges, HQs, and basic opportunistic personnel concentrations. So it was mostly along this front here, where they just did logistical strikes. Hi, Elf. Hi, Mexi. And then in bad
Hello.
news. Anyway, I'm out. Alright, bye-bye, Joseph.
All right, Joseph, have a good time. But yes, so a Ukrainian F-16 was shot down this week by an S-400 missile over the Sumy Oblast, as confirmed by Ukrainian sources, leaving only 5 remaining.
Yeah. They might get reinforced if they have success with those logistical strikes, if they're worth it. But they are short on Air Force. One day they'll get more F-16s. Maybe. I think the Dutch are supposed to be giving them some soon.
They're kind of being a little bit, the Dutch are kind of being a little bit back and forth with that. They're like, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And it's not coming. Like, they're just kind of being a little like, I feel like they want to give it, but they don't really want to give it.
Yeah. Alright. Next, in Manpower, there's some footage recently where they had training camps for kids 10 and up, where they're training them on machine guns, pistols, rifles, and they're training them to fight the Russians, and I think their opinion is that it's supposed to kind of scare Russia, like, look, we're willing to fight you for 10 years. But it's kind of messed up. What the fuck? Yeah, Canon, it's not great. They're having some pretty bad manpower shortages.
Yeah, it's not. It is kind of a sign of, I want to say, struggling when you're starting to do like camps with children, because these images are going to be spread everywhere. Also, let's see. That might be an Azov thing. I don't think this is Azov. Actually, I don't think it's Azov anymore. I think it's gone to other militia, like other groups. But still, even they still haven't drafted 18 to 25s. I was reading that 18 to 25s they're heavily considering drafting.
Yeah, it's kind of true that they're like, oh, we have training camps for kids, but they still haven't drafted that age group, 18 to 25, which it kind of goes against each other, which is a little strange.
Well, I remember reading that they had offered a lot of money to people to, like, 18 to 25-year-olds in order to enlist, and only 500 people went forward and enlisted. So they really
Yeah.
are struggling to convince younger people to enlist, and I think they're just gonna put forward a draft.
Yeah. Everyone who was gonna volunteer has already volunteered.
Yeah, that's the problem is, how are you supposed to continue fighting if all you're doing is you're not making it a good point, because I think a lot of people are leaving the country, and those people are the young people. Yeah, no teen or young adult wants to cut their life short. Yeah, I agree. No one, as much as you can love your country, if it's not optional, no one's gonna do it.
There's also a huge problem I don't think we talked about yet, was if the Russian reconnaissance sees a military training camp and blows it up, they're in camouflage, and they might not double check. I mean, they're not exactly known for how good they are at aiming. So that would be pretty bad, too.
Yeah, I mean, if what is the name? Isenker missiles, because last year the Russian military gave permission for field commanders to start using missiles in, like, start using missiles at, like, for field. You don't have to need permission from the Air Force or Missile Defense Forces. You can use it directly on frontline targets, which has given them a big advantage in the war, because it's now allowed them to use heavy. I mean, you got to remember, a ballistic missile is massive. So using that on a frontline position is insane.
Yeah,
Which
that's
has
true.
conscripted a lot of people that don't want to fight. You can always bet on sloppy strikes. Yeah,
True.
I know I'm reading these out, like, to be honest.
Yeah.
Children present doesn't stop Russians from targeting them. I think the problem is just
They're in uniform, though. That makes it,
worse.
yeah, way worse.
That's
Where they're
I'll
like,
give you
we
okay.
just-
I'll give it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. You can go.
Yeah, it's just, it's a bad situation all around.
I was gonna say, it's not a good sign when you're doing the same thing that the Sudanese do.
Yeah. In good news, though, oil prices have dropped significantly. Tariffs enacted by the American president have caused global oil demand to drop, and it's costing Russia about $20 billion in revenue, which isn't like they're losing the money. It's just that they're not going to have it later, which is still pretty big. Like, they're counting on that.
Yeah.
And Russia is going to look for a solution, but I don't know if they're going to be able to sell that oil to India or China, which is going to be their main pivot.
I was gonna say probably through India or China. It's probably their best bet, is if they want to make money, is just go through India and China. I wonder. I am not an expert on economics, so I don't know if this chart is going to stay in the same position. But I wonder if it's like, what's gonna happen if the prices skyrocket again?
Yeah. So this is a 3-month chart of the Russian oil price.
Well,
it has
oil
dropped
price in
pretty bad.
general.
Yeah.
I was gonna say oil price in general. I don't know if we have, like, specifics on those ones.
Yeah, the infrastructure isn't set up for India and China. Yeah, plus there's the issue where they can buy the oil, but if the tariffs cause the global market to kind of recede a little bit, and that would cause the global oil demand to drop, which is what the tariffs kind of did, they're gonna have oil and not do anything with it, so they wouldn't buy it in the first place. It's just the demand isn't there.
China does have big demand for oil. Chinese demand is always going to be massive, because if you read into it, China's, so surprisingly, it has no massive natural oil infrastructure whatsoever, or natural oil reserves compared to Iran, Russia, like, neighboring countries.
Yeah.
So China's probably will continue to buy it, and I would say that when you mentioned the infrastructure, if Russia and Iran do finish that railroad system between Azerbaijan, which Azerbaijani doesn't care, they're kind of, let's just say they're kind of always a little goofy when it comes to following international wink. But if that railroad does get made from the South Caucasus through Iran, it could definitely reach India with no problem.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I also saw that Saudi Arabia was increasing their oil production for their own goals. So that will also cause the oil to drop some more.
Considering I wouldn't be surprised. I think Azeris go with Turks. Here's the thing. Azerbaijani is an interesting country because it goes with whoever supports it. So if anyone starts giving them weapons, they're like, "Yep."
Yeah. That's the thing is they could sell to China. China isn't locked into Russia. Russia's stuck with the global market. It's not like China and Russia are big friends. They're not enemies, which is as good a friend to Russia as they can get, I suppose.
I think it's China just loves the raw resources, but wants the plausible deniability as well, which they love. They love that plausible deniability.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Yeah, you're up.
All right, kids, let's play a game today. Was an MQ-9 shot down this week? Can I hear a drum roll? And the answer is... Yes, it was.
All right.
Dear God. Yes,
so,
it was.
Yemen has taken down yet another Reaper drone. This is the 24th one they've destroyed since the beginning of the war. And that will bring up the losses to $720 million. What do I win?
Dang.
You win a free head pack. Good job. Good job, Ed.
Oh my God. Next week we'll do... Next week, I'm gonna find information about the Yemeni air defense systems because it is, it is like somehow they're able to do this, as my little guy points to.
Yeah. So, I'm jealous. True. Lee, welcome to the stream. Hi. So, this is a consistent failure of CENTCOM, and I found out recently that he is probably going to get replaced soon. His position is 3 years, and he started in April 1st, 2022. And he has just been feeding the Houthis Reapers, which is kind of ridiculous that we've gotten to this point.
I know.
Are you two winning? We are. We're doing pretty good. This guy's not. Boo this man. Boo!
Boo this man! Boo this man, for he does not understand how drones win.
Peru.
You two winning. Let's see. Smuggled Iranian stuff, which means smuggled Russian stuff. So, I don't know. I think it is sort of like a weird, horrible mix. Trust me, bro. One more drone.
Yeah.
More drone.
Sending another Reaper drone is the last thing the Houthis would expect. It's brilliant.
We'll send 4 more for every one we lose, and then 4 more for every one we lose. Sir, we've lost 10%.
Crying.
Oh, what is it? I did the math. That's 10% of every Reaper drone, of all Reaper drones ever made, have been lost.
Just to Yemen.
Just
Tragic.
to Yemen. All right. Would you like me to?
Yeah, go
cover
ahead.
this one. Okay. So, Jaren. You get a drone, you get a drone. Alright. Jaren 2 use has skyrocketed. The use of one-way suicide drones has skyrocketed since August of 2024, going from around 500 a month to a near record of 4,500 a month. Meaning that which coincides with production that Shahed 139s, known as Jaren 2s, they're skyrocketing production.
Mm-hmm. Did you see that China's feeding the Houthis intel? Yes, I think we did see a little bit of that, which would explain how they've been so successful.
We were actually talking about that in pre-stream. I was like,
yeah.
Should I mention that? I feel like we shouldn't.
We didn't have the slide set up in time for it, but yeah.
Yeah, I know.
They've been doing pretty asymmetric damage to CENTCOM.
But now for another form of damage, the what is it?
Ooh.
Yeah, these guys. So, a reason for this increase could be down to jet-powered Shahed 238 drones, which travel at 500 kilometers an hour with a jet engine and are nearly impossible to shoot down with normal AA fire.
Yep. However, the Ukrainians haven't just been doing nothing. Oh, here's some more stats on the
I was
Shahid.
gonna say, we
Yeah.
got 2 more stats on it before we get into that.
Okay.
Missiles can still hit them, but you got to think of it like this. Would you use man-pad missiles to take out, if there's like, say, 150 in the air, would you still use man-pad missiles against them, or would you try to use AA guns?
Yeah. Both of those
It's sort of
not great.
It's sort of a losing battle, but it's kind of how they've been fighting, is Jaren's 2s are susceptible to AA guns.
It's better than it hitting stuff. That's true. It's just the success rate is low. One more slide, right? Yeah, so
Yeah, the
increased
factories.
production.
I just wanted to mention they've been building a lot of factories to make these Jaren 2s now, and Russia's building more than Iran is right now.
Yeah.
Because as you can see right here, this factory in the Albolga Special Economic Zone in Yalbolga, Russia, is apparently up to 6,000 Shahids a month.
Wow.
And
Why, Mexi? No, not again.
Hit him
Please.
with beans.
I'm getting to the really cool part. No.
And a bear?
No.
Yes, guys, I
Yeah.
swear, please stop leaving. We're a serious stream. Stop.
Peru. Why?
I think these terror strikes are basically ineffective with the overall situation. You gotta remember, if one Jaren hits a power plant, that takes out the power plant. Launching 600 of them into the air to hit random targets, it creates fear and also creates it's cheaper. Think about it, Jaren only cost about $30,000 to make. If I hit a power plant, that's gonna cost $500,000 to fix.
Yeah.
That's sort of the trade-off is, yeah, I launch 500 of them and I hit probably 100 targets in a day, but the target hitting is sort of like, it's so cheap, it's worth it, you know?
Yeah. However, the Ukrainians haven't just been doing nothing the whole time. I've been kind of schizo-posting about this for a long time, but it's finally here, friends. Eat tungsten wolf? Yeah, they're gonna eat something really cool in a minute. So, the Trident laser defense system. So they have a new system it was designed to combat the Shahid drones and drones like it. They say it can destroy drones, bombs, cruise missiles up to 3 kilometers, helicopters and jets at 5 kilometers, blind things up to 10 kilometers, and it's supposed to be based off of the Dragonfire prototype. Of course, the actual performance isn't really well known because it's super classified. Right? It's so cool.
I laugh at this because the photo they have posted, the red photo is from a British Navy British naval test. The one that the actual thing is in the back of this van. So I was like, when he's like, yo, man, there's this missile defense system that could take out things from 10 kilometers. I was like, no, they don't have that system set up yet. That's insane. And then I see the real one and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I can believe this.
From the test footage, cool.
From the test footage we saw, it looks as if it can take out small drones. I know me and Iron 2 weeks ago, we showed off the Russian version that they were testing out in the field.
Yeah.
Where the Russian one was a mobile infantry gun that could take out small drones, you know, like FPVs and the tiny little recon drones. Like those ones could have been taken out by the same laser system. This one seems a lot higher horsepower.
Yeah.
But I don't see it as like... Here's the thing. I use Israel as the example. By the way, if anyone thinks I'm being skeptical, I'm more just like... I'm being skeptical because laser systems are very expensive, and and Israel, one of the countries with a lot of laser systems set up in place to shoot down rockets, kind of doesn't use it as much. Like the laser dome isn't used that much. So that's my only thing of this is probably not a massive game changer, but if used effectively, could easily protect a city.
Yeah. The British definitely helped with this. They got the think this was back in 2002, even when they were working on the Dragonfire prototype along with the Ukrainians. So they might have been helping him for years with this secret project.
It just, as you can see though, the result is a very tiny prototype in the back of a van.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be like we can shoot down 800. It's probably going to take out FPV drones.
Yeah.
Which is good, by the way. That is a really good and effective thing to have. It's just, I don't think this thing's going to stop a ballistic missile, and I really don't think it's going to ever take out any, like, cruise missile. Like, I'm sorry, but you're telling me that thing's going to take down a cruise missile when it's coming towards it?
Yeah. It's still super classified, so it probably can't. But if it is just made in the UK and then they slap a Ukrainian sticker on it, it could be pretty good. But we don't really know what it is yet.
That'd be terrible though if they lose one, because that's gonna be like a.
Oh, this is Sumi.
Yes.
So
the head of the. Oh, sorry.
I'll read this one. The head of the Sumi Oblast. I don't know how to say his name. Volodymyr Artyuk,
I think,
has been fired. Go ahead.
Yes. He was fired due to planning a military medal service which got over 30 civilians killed after it was targeted for an attack. So, for context, this man right here had posted on Facebook that there would be a medal ceremony for, I think, the 114th Brigade, like one of those brigades in Sumi. And he had posted the location of it and the time. And then the missiles hit early, killing a bunch of civilians. And then he commented later that, I was gonna be there.
Why? Right? That's a typical thing that happens, is there's an oversight like this. But yeah, he's fired, and we don't know who's gonna replace him. We kind of don't really know what his strategy was. So it might change based off of what was happening in the sector, but
it was supposed to be like a morale boost. That was the thing. They said it was supposed to be like a big morale boost, but the problem was that they they didn't really. It was supposed to be a morale boost because medal ceremonies are supposed to be like that. That's why when you see photos of the attacks on Sumi, like the missile hitting stuff, the problem, like, people were pointing out, there's military trucks there. The thing was, the medal ceremony wasn't happening yet. They were setting up for it.
Oh, okay. Cardboard cutouts. That would be pretty good, but that's not what happened in this case, and that's why he got fired. Alright, here we have Russia is working on their 6th gen engines. So we kind of don't. I don't think we know yet what 6th gen is gonna entail entirely. I still think it's gonna be lasers.
I think it's gonna be lasers and having a side drone.
Yeah.
Like S70s, like S70s or the thing that I'm MQ-21s. So this is more of just like a strange developmental thing of trying to. I guess they're working on the next generation aircraft engines, but the thing is, I don't think anyone's gonna know what's gonna hit them.
Yeah, it could be AI. Actually, if it's in 20 to 30 years, like Bad's saying, they might have AI flown planes.
Oh yeah,
I do not. Really scary.
I do not believe that anyone's I think the U.S. is probably gonna get 6th gen stuff in the next 10 years, maybe, depending on what we actually classify as 6th gen.
Yeah.
I have no faith. I have faith in it because I've been seeing we have been memeing a whole bunch of stuff. So we have just been memeing it into existence. Yeah, this
could be another fake thing, like the way they made in the past, like the Soviets are like, we made a cool new plane. America goes, oh no, and makes a way better plane. They're all, it was a lie. We were lying.
Okay, I will defend the MiG-25. I feel bad for it because it was just an interceptor, and they thought it was something else, and then they were like, they're building a super plane, and they were just like, no, it's interceptor, and now everyone's like, everyone associates that story. It's like, no, it was not supposed to be like that. Why must you hurt interceptor planes? Now we can never have any.
Yeah. Sad. So
Sad but true.
Factory in Utah was destroyed in an explosion. It was probably an industrial accident. There's nothing that indicates otherwise. But it was a solid fuel thing. So they expect missiles and engines to kind of slow down a little bit in their production. Hopefully this will kickstart a little bit in getting CENTCOM fired, because they've been using Tomahawks and Reaper drones like they're free. I will blame the Russians anyway. True. The Russians did this.
No, I think what it was just, this is a developmental factory for experimental solid fuel rockets and missiles and engines. So I think they think what happened was just an industrial fire had broken out and caused a massive explosion, because it is a fuel section and experimental as well. Yeah. And this is where apparently 90% of our solid fuel is made in this building.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of a significant setback for, I guess, CENTCOM. I don't really think we use that much on Ukraine and whatnot. We don't really give them stuff that has solid fuel in it.
No,
they'll be fine over there. It's just CENTCOM that's going to cry about it.
CENTCOM, stop feeding those Reapers to those Houthis. No, we must keep feeding them.
Here we have a new picture of the J-50. Still not much is known about this plane. It's kind of cool looking though. Look at that. It's got like the little wing flaps you can kind of see.
Yeah, it does. I kind of don't buy it. I don't think it's 6th gen. I think it's just another 5th. I think it's a 5++ plane. I think it's probably we're probably going to start seeing the first 5++ planes coming out.
Yeah. Here we have another 5th gen out of Turkey, which it does look kind of legit, but
it is. It is.
Yeah.
There is flying prototypes. It's the CAN combat aircraft, but I'm kind of skeptical about its full existence, because making 5th generation planes as an independent nation is hard. I mean, we only have 3 nations that independently made their own. And it's very hard. I mean, if you don't have the resources or aircraft industry, I think Turkey would probably make at most 20.
Yeah. So the 5th gen, I think, is mostly the systems integration. I think that's what 5th gen is about. So
yeah,
it would be all the electronics in the plane that would let you know if it's 5th gen, that we're not going to be able to see, but it's probably legit. They have F-35s, right? So
no, so that's why this aircraft exists, is because they weren't allowed in the F-35 program.
Oh, that sucks.
No, bad. I'm fighting you on this right now. It is a 5th generation plane. Shut up.
Stealth is needed for 5th gen. That's true.
But it is stealth. The freaking prototypes everyone keeps posting around is the T-50. Everyone keeps posting the T-50A bolt. Yeah, shut up about the visible bolts, okay? I'm fighting you on this one. I'm sick of everyone posting about bolts, because the F-22 has bolts too when it was on its prototypes as well. And I do not want anyone to fight on that one.
I'm not saying that this is what it is, but sometimes they put on like radar reflectors to actually make it increase its radar signature, so that. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying that sometimes they do this to make it to where countries can't like test out their radar on the plane whenever it's flying or whenever it's around.
Okay, can I add this to the thing real fast?
What?
It's the slideshow because Bad keeps pointing it out about the visible bolts. Because I literally have
it at the end.
A photo. Okay. I was gonna say I have it right here. Does it?
Ooh, here. the ad showed off the plane. This is, I think, a CGI plane, so it's not. I don't think it's real. I don't think it's a real plane, but it was in the ad.
It's real. I think it's real. Okay, so this is a potential ad for the U.S. Army. Just what is it? Like the Army was just like trying to show off like cool planes and stuff.
Mhm.
This is like giving us a concept of what the 40 F-47 is gonna look like.
Ah, yeah. I mean, it looks kind of cool, but I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's real. Like, I certainly don't think they'd put it in an ad if it was real, right?
I think, okay, what I'm saying is it's probably not like the real thing. It's probably
Mhm.
just the idea of it, you know? Like, oh, this is
Yeah.
the next generation.
Like all the old B-2 bomber ad things.
Yeah,
I remember
like
there being
that.
a
Like, I'm
lot of
not
those. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, bad. I'm gonna
Ooh.
prove you wrong later
Here,
on.
the Admiral Kuznetsov. Kuznetsov.
Ah, yes. The trash can that floats.
Yeah. I think it's finally
so-
fixed.
Yeah. This is weird. I follow a French guy on Twitter who gets like locals to take photo. He doesn't get locals to take photos, but he has local contacts who take photos of ships in the area, ships from China, Russia, Iran, etc. And I noticed that in the 2 photos he posted, he somehow there's no scaffolding on it, but I can't find any satellite photos of it recently, so I don't know if it's been lost.
True, yeah. And then here's another photo that is kind of old, but there's also, you can kind of see the ship in the background. It's pretty blurry, but that's the ship.
Yeah, this was from a nuclear submarine being launched. And in the background, I had noticed in the photo, like, hey, it looks like there's no scaffolding, so I don't know if they... Again, until we see a satellite photo showing the roof of it, like, not the roof of it, the deck of it, I don't think we'll be able to know.
Condemned to Poseidon. As soon as it leaves harbor, it'll go be condemned to Poseidon. It's a high-value target, and Ukraine has mostly kind of contested the sea. They have those new long-range stuff, though.
Yeah, but it's all the way in the north by Finland. It's way far out of range of everything. No, it's in Finland.
Yeah, okay.
Finland area. Like the Arctic Circle.
Oh, okay, so it's in that part of Finland. Okay. Maybe they won't get it
It's
then.
not in Finland, but it's in Kurli Peninsula. I know, I cannot pronounce it.
Yeah. Alright. And... Did you want to... Where's this the slide of the...
I added it in, so you may have to go out. It's after the Admiral Khrushchev.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I think you have to just quickly load it in and load it back up.
Slideshow. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this does not look like rivets. Okay.
Yeah, so on the top is the T-50A model that's used as the prototype, you know, something that everybody's made fun of, but it's the one used in air shows, it's the prototype.
Yeah.
That is the production model down below. As you can see, all the rivets are covered, and everything's been painted with J-dams. Sorry, not J-dams.
Yeah, with the paint. Yeah, because this one, if it's at an air show, the adversary might try and get some radar signatures off of it. And if it has the rivets, just kind of on purpose, so it can't get a good or an accurate radar signature of the plane.
Yeah. I was gonna say this. Look, I'm not trying to. I just wanted to say my piece with it because I feel like using the rivets is kind of unfair on everybody because I see how like there's old F-22s that are used in air shows and they have visible screws and rivets and rust, and it's like it's not fair to judge a plane based upon its prototypes or its models being used for outside stuff. You know, I always feel passionate about it. I'm not like, by the way, I don't want to be like, oh, I'm a coping or anything. It's more, I really don't like when information is not accurately portrayed. You know, I want to clear the stuff.
It's an order of magnitude less stealthy than the F-35. True, that's almost certainly true. Yeah.
I think it's as stealthy as the J-30, like the Chinese planes. So I think they have like the same level of stealth.
Again, this could be an error that Russia and China are having. Is the 5th gen isn't about stealth so much as it is about systems integration, like it being able to coordinate with AOX, ground assets, other F-35s or other planes. It can do that better than any other plane.
Yeah, I think the Sukhoi 57 has been used mostly for like launching missiles into Ukraine outside of Ukrainian space, but they do test it over Ukraine. Do you guys remember when the S-70 was shot down? Like their stealth drone was shot down. It was shot down by a what was it? It was shot down by a Su-57. Also, bad. The total number I think right now is 28 production models and 10 prototypes.
Yeah.
So around like 30, 40-ish.
There are more
one squadron.
There are more F-35 5th generation aircraft than there are Russian planes in existence.
No, that
Are you sure?
The drone thing you're thinking. I was gonna say the drone thing was one was potentially hit by a Ukrainian suicide drone.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. They hit the airfield with a bunch of drones. I remember that. We don't really know what the damage was.
Yeah. Truth be told, we'll never know. But I don't like Oryx using the thing of like on their website where they're like, if something's injured, they use it as like a destroyed item sometimes.
Yeah.
Because they do it all the time with Ukrainian stuff, and it just bothers me. It's like, guys, yeah, it got hit by an RPG. It's damaged.
Okay. But that does conclude this week's Armchair General. Thank you, Yag, for being here. Thanks for everyone for showing up. I think in about 15 minutes we'll be back with some War Thunder with Vime, so look forward to that. Hopefully you're there. And have a good week, everybody. Bye-bye.
Yeah, have a good week, everybody. I really appreciate everyone being very nice. I do apologize if I sound a little passionate. I'm just a very big numbers and like plain and like statistics guy, so when I hear people not doing stuff, I'm like, how dare you not statistics?
No, my numbers. All right. Bye-bye.
I know. It's like see you guys.